Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. In today's video, we're going to be doing something that's kind of the piggyback of a video I posted last week. So last week I posted a video titled, "Which influencer has influenced me the most?" I'm really proud of that video and I'd really appreciate it if you guys checked it out. I'll have it linked in the eye and down below, but I just really like how it turned out. But a couple of you guys actually commented that I had either influenced you to purchase an item or that because of something that I said, you are considering purchasing an item. So I wanted to make a video kind of about what would I feel confident influencing to you. I'm in no way calling myself an influencer. I'm just thinking, like, let's continue on that thought. And what are the products? Now, let me say this. If I ever say, like, I really like a product and I suggest it, I mean that. But I wanted to go and, like, pick just a curated amount that these are the products that I really back with no caveat to them. Like, this isn't, I think you'd like this if you specifically love these three things about it, but you might not like it if these are pretty, like, broad suggestions, and these are things that I would back, but it's not everything in my collection that I would suggest to you. I hope I'm getting the point across here, but I just thought this would be fun to go pick just a few products. I think I've got about maybe 10 to 15 products here that if you ask me, Kirsten, which product do you suggest that I pick up? This is where I would lead you without knowing, like, what your preferences are. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. I wanted to start out with this palette from Natasha Denona. And this is the Glam Palette. So the reason I wanted to start off with this is because one of you guys actually commented that you picked this up on my recommendation and that I influenced you to get this palette. So also, you might notice a little shiny pan right here. I hit pan in this shade while filming this look, and I actually just filmed the video that I posted yesterday, and I mentioned that I wanted to hit pan in this palette, in that shade, and I did, so I'm really glad that that worked out. But I feel like if you're looking for a cool toned color story out of an eyeshadow palette, you would just not be disappointed with this. There's nothing bad about it. If I had to pick a critique about this palette, it would just be that I would prefer the names to be, like, actually named something. I know that you can pop them out and move them to wherever it works based on your skin tone or your preferences, but I don't know. I would rather it just have, like, the regular names, but it's really not the end of the world. And honestly, I never even look at the names except for to talk to you guys about them. So that's really the only thing I could come up with, but I do understand, like, why they did that. It's just, like, for me as a consumer, I don't really like that. But yeah, this palette is one that I definitely suggest, even for the price. I think it's worth it. I wanted to narrow this video down to just 2 eyeshadow palettes. So that being the first one, and the second one is the Huda Mercury Retrograde palette. You guys know I love this palette. It's just so good. I think this is one of the most special palettes to ever be in the beauty market, like, ever, that I've ever seen and ever tried, especially, but just in general. Like, I really believe that about this palette, and because of that, I just think that most anyone would get a lot of use out of this, unless you don't like eyeshadow. But if you're looking for a good eyeshadow recommendation, I definitely suggest this. You can see how much I love this palette. I have hit several pans in this palette, and I have large dips in a lot of other shades. So this is just a definite suggestion. I would be willing to influence any of you guys to pick up this palette. I think it's so good. Next up, let's talk about a face primer. And this one is a product that someone else influenced me to buy, but I would carry that on and influence other people to buy this. So if you're curious of who suggested this to me, then go check out that video that I mentioned from last week. But this is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Primer. This is so good for anyone with dry skin. I cannot speak to whether or not this would work with oily skin because I do not have oily skin. However, this is not a greasy formula in my opinion. It is very moisturizing, but I do not believe that it's greasy. It just gives a really, really nice moisturized look to the skin. But not only does it give the look of a moisturized skin finish, but it feels like it too, and it just really preps the skin so well for products. So I would think that this would work for anyone, but I just don't want to specifically say that I would suggest it for oily skin because that's not my skin type. Also from that Pretty Fresh line, I would have to suggest the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Setting Mist as well. This duo is going to give you the most stunning glowy finish on your skin. It's not going to be like for a long lasting look. However, this can really prep the skin to cover up any like dryness or flakiness you might have on your skin. So it really preps the skin in that way. And then this just helps melt everything together. It's going to make it look like you applied your makeup with like a soaking wet sponge, but then it's going to dry down just a little bit, but it's going to look like glass skin. I feel like my skin kind of looks like glass skin with these lights on, but in reality, it's more of like a satin finish. I did not use this today. It just kind of looks like that because of the lights. I don't tend to use this one when I'm filming because of that, but for every day, you can tell I've used it a lot. I think this might just be the second one I've been through, but it could be the third. I really don't remember, but I've gone through multiples of these. Next up is concealer. I went back on my photos to find a very embarrassing picture for you guys, but last year I gave myself a black eye. Yep, you heard that right. I gave myself a black eye, and I needed a concealer to cover it. And so I went to Ulta with a black eye, and I bought the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I had just started a new job, so, you know, I don't want to walk into a new job with a black eye for many reasons. Let me just tell y'all the story real quick. Last year I flipped furniture for a profit, so that was kind of like my job there for a while. And I then had a part-time job with that, and yeah, but I was flipping furniture and it was really, really, really hot outside. And so I was carrying a piece of furniture from in our garage through the house into a different room to work on it because it was just so hot in the garage that I wanted to work on this particular part of it in the AC. And I picked this big piece up. I think it was a big dresser. It was a rather large piece of furniture, and I picked it up and I was kind of like holding it in front of me so it stuck out pretty far. And then to step up from our garage into the house, there's like a step. Well, I stepped up, but that piece of furniture hit the door frame, and with how I was carrying it, it just smacked me in the face because of how I was holding it. And then I gave myself a black eye. So I say all that to say that this concealer can cover a black eye. I don't have a picture where it covered it, I don't think, but I will put the picture here of the black eye. But this can really be a full coverage concealer. Obviously, it can cover a black eye, as I've said 50 times, but you can also kind of sheer it out with a sponge, and it just looks really pretty, and it doesn't look too drying, even though it is such a full coverage foundation. I think I was just calling it a foundation, but obviously it's a concealer, sorry, but it is a high-end concealer. However, you get about double the product that you get in a typical concealer, so the value of this is actually really good, and I would just suggest it to anyone. I can't think of anyone that I wouldn't suggest this to, unless you just like a skin tint look and you don't really like a lot of coverage at all. Maybe you wouldn't like this, but for anyone else, I really, really, really suggest this. On a different but similar note, another concealer is this one from Rare Beauty. I've mentioned this before in the video I posted about the most special makeup products in my collection, and I will briefly tell you guys why I love this one, but I did talk about it pretty in depth in that video, so again, I can have that linked in the eye down below for you. But this concealer doesn't provide full coverage. It's more of like a medium, but like on the lighter end of medium coverage. The reason I love this is because you see how well that just blended in to my hand. This is the perfect like makeup fixing product. So kind of like what I was talking about in that previous video is if you put your foundation on and all of your cheek products and it's just way too dark or way too bold, maybe you got like some clown cheeks going on, that's just not the vibe you were going for, you put some of this concealer on the back of your hand, you pick it up with your sponge, and you can put it all over your entire face. It doesn't matter if you have powder or creams on, or if you even started setting it with setting spray. It doesn't matter. Put this over your skin and it will fix it. It will tone everything down. It will fix the harsh lines. It will fix the clown cheeks. It will fix literally everything. So this is just a product that I just don't want to not have in my makeup collection, and I've used up about 75% of it, and I will definitely be repurchasing this when I run out of it because this is just it's not just a concealer to me. It's so much more than that in my collection. So honestly, between the two of these, like, I've got my bases covered, because this one has a little bit too much coverage in my opinion to be able to use as a fixing product, but the two of these are the perfect duo. You have the coverage and you have the fixer. You have exactly what you need out of concealer. I just think that these are perfect. The next product is this one from Charlotte Tilbury. This is one, hear me out, it's worth the money, okay? This is the Film Star Bronze and Glow Duo. I have the lighter of the options. Can you tell how much I love this? I think it's so good. I would specifically suggest this if you are around my skin tone and you like similar products to me. I do have this on today, and you guys, I think this is my favorite bronzer and highlight in my collection. If I were to sit down and have to choose one of each, this is genuinely my favorite, and I think that you can probably tell that I love these. So I do have the full size of this. It's not the mini, and it does retail for like $68, but I'm telling you, this is incredible. The bronzer has like the tiniest little bit of a reflect in it, like the tiniest. So it's more of like a satin bronzer on the skin. It's not shimmery at all. I don't think it comes off that way. And then the highlight is just like a nice, subtle everyday. Both of these are perfect for everyday. I just feel like you cannot go wrong with them. It's a perfect duo for someone of my skin tone because the bronzer and the highlight are both gonna work for you. And then you can pick the colorful option with your blush and kind of have some more fun with that. Whereas this is just a really perfect staple for everyday makeup. I love it so much. I'm gonna be really, really sad when I use this up, but I will repurchase it when I use it up. And that's saying a lot because it took a lot for me to spend that kind of money on this product. It's so amazing. I really, 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 really suggest it if we have similar preferences and similar skin tones. Let's take a little break from makeup products, and I want to talk to you about a couple of brushes. So I've got one high-end brush to suggest to you and then one drugstore brush. Let's start out with drugstore. I actually have two of them, but this is the Real Techniques setting brush. I have them in two different colors, but they're about $7 or $8, and I love these. I use them almost every day. I do alternate them with some of my KJH brushes, but these are perfect. You could have, like I do, one in each color. You can use one for setting powder and then one for highlight. This is my favorite highlighter brush. It's just perfect. I used this one today and I love these so much. I've had this one. I have no idea how long I've had this brush.
Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be talking about my current beauty favorites. I really like this setting brush, and I just really like it to go underneath my eyes and just put like a banana colored powder underneath. And then...
But I've had it for a very long time and it is in such good shape still. Nothing is loose, it holds on so well, and it washes amazingly. This one's pretty new, so it is actually slightly larger, but they are the same brush, I think, just because I've had this one for so long, or maybe they've changed it slightly, but they're essentially the same brush, and I love both of them equally. They perform the same. The high-end brush I wanted to mention is this one from Sigma. This is their E40 Tapered Blending Brush. I just realized lately how much I reach for this brush every time I do my makeup. Like, it's the first brush that I reach for to put down my crease and transition shade. I used it today. I just love it. I think it's so good. It's nice and weighted, but it's not too heavy. It's just very comfortable in the hand. The bristles themselves are very uniform. Like, they don't get out of whack too much. You can wash this brush. You can also just like wipe it off on the back of your hand, and most of the pigment's going to come out because it is such a fluffy crease brush. It's just so good. It blends your shadows effortlessly. Even if you have a pretty patchy shadow, this can just really work magic with it, and I really do suggest it. I think that it's worth the money. Next up, let's talk about the eyeliner I had to pull out of my empties bin. This is the H2o Proof Eyeliner Pen from e.l.f. This is such a good eyeliner pen. If you guys like a liquid liner, pick this one up. It's $6, full price at $6. I actually could still draw a pretty good line with it, but I just had it for way too long to be able to comfortably use it anymore, and It's so good. I have the Stila one, and honestly, I think this one's better. I like it more. I think it's so reliable for $6. It doesn't smudge or flake or anything or bleed. A product in similar packaging, but very different, is the Milani Weekend Brow. This is just a holy grail brow product for me. I don't think I'll ever go back to using like a brow pomade or even a brow pencil. I do have a brow pencil for the beginner makeup series, but I think once you get past the learning curve of this kind of brow product, it's just the best way to create a everyday brow look. But this is one of those like felt tip brow markers. I have this in the shade Soft Brown, and I just think that it makes filling in your brows so easy because you can really use hair-like strokes, and it just, I feel like they look natural. They look like you did something to them. They don't look like that block brow kind of look that we used to all do. I just think that it just beats any other brow product that I've tried. I've got 3 more products that I would influence you guys to purchase. Again, I should have mentioned this in the get-go, but I don't ever want to tell you like you have to go buy these things, you have to go spend your hard-earned money. It's just like if you're thinking about them, I would suggest these, you know what I mean? So keep that, take my opinion with a grain of salt. The next product is the NYX Glitter Glue. This is $6, and this will change your eyeshadow game. So if you guys can tell how metallic and sparkly my eyeshadow is right now, it's because of this. Now, don't let me take any credit away from No Mattifier and Ice Palette. I'm just saying that this NYX Glitter Glue can really add that extra oomph to your metallic shadow. This just provides such a tacky base for the shadows to stick to. It's $6. I've used this for about a year now, and I have so much left of this. I feel like I might have used up about half of it, but this just lasts for so long, and it's such a good value, and it's an amazing, amazing product. Next up is an eyeliner, and this is a 6-in-1 kind of thing because I do have 6 colors of this product, but the first one that I picked up was this one, so we'll just talk about this one from now on. But these are the NYX Epic Wear Liner Sticks. This is the shade Gilded Taupe, and these are the best. These are the best. They're like $7, and they last all day long. It doesn't matter if you put them on your waterline or on the lid. They're gonna last the entire day. That's Gilded Taupe. Then we have All Time Olive. These lines are not going to be straight because I'm doing them backwards. Berry Goth, Pitch Black. I'm wearing this one today in the waterline, and I also use it to tightline the upper lash line. Deepest Brown and Pure White. These are all just equally as good as one another. There's not any that are better or worse than others in my opinion. I think that they're all really amazing and really great. They do have different finishes. So for instance, the Gilded Taupe and the All Time Olive are a little bit more of like a metallic finish, whereas the majority of the rest of them I think are all matte. Even the Berry Goth shade I believe is matte. So there are some different finishes within this line, but I suggest them all so much to you if you're looking for a pencil eyeliner. I think that it just stays in the waterline all day long. My eyes can get pretty watery and irritated, and then this has never, number 1, irritated them, but number 2, smudged or just disappeared like some other liners have. I just think that they're amazing. The last product that I wanted to mention in today's video is this gloss from Kaja. This is the Mini Shot Gloss, or Gloss Shot, in Milk Tea. I've talked about this one so much, but there's also someone who influenced me to buy this. It may or may not be the same person as the primer, but this is just the best gloss that I have used probably ever, honestly. It's so shiny and juicy looking, but it doesn't stick at all. Like, it is not sticky in the slightest. I just think they really did something special with this gloss, even compared to the other ones in my collection that I also love. This one is just the one that I would recommend over all of them. It's just so good. Why do I always want to describe everything as so good? I don't know, but you know what? This gloss has earned it. It is so good. But all right, you guys, those are the products that if I could influence you to pick up something on my recommendation, these are the ones that I would start with. Like I mentioned before, if I've ever said that I suggest something, I do mean that. It's not to say that I don't mean that because they're not in this video. No, this is just something that I thought would be fun to dedicate an entire video to. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the part 1 to this video as well. And I've had a lot of fun filming this one as well as the first one, so I'm excited about it, and I hope that you guys are too. If you enjoyed today's video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. I have been posting every single day since December 1st, and I will continue to do so until Christmas Day, so I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Bye!